After 2 weeks, 3 teams remain undefeated. But that's about to change as we look ahead to week 3. Clash of the Titans, Dynasty versus Excelsior. Who will come out victorious in the battle of the unbeatens?
Seoul Dynasty is sitting at the top of the pack.
Kings of Los Angeles. Who has the edge in the rivalry between the Gladiators and the Valiant?
And the Los Angeles Valiants turn up!
After a turbulent 0-4 start, will this be the week Dallas Fuel finally heats things up?
Dallas Fuel are not out of this match yet.
Plus, some of the league's stars make their case for who's the best in the claim game. And rare access to the league's most dominant team as we hang for dinner with the Dynasty.
Your parents, are they happy for you to be a pro gamer?
This is Watchpoint.
Welcome to MLG's Watchpoint. Uber here with Montecristo, Doa and Mr X. Boys, week 3 of the Overwatch League's just on the horizon. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I like how we have evenly divided the desk between the Western wear and then the casual rolled up sleeves this week.
Still beard and unbeard. I don't know if that's
wow,
that's
true. Damn,
I'm
these
rubbing
are like
off
a
on
really
Doa.
even line.
I don't know if that's a good thing for you or a bad thing, but I'm rubbing off on Doa's spot of hair.
Actually,
polarization is hot in this country right now. So we brought it to the desk.
It goes best beard from left to right.
Oh, come on.
How is
that? Was like
beard and no beard? What's the difference between us? I understand. All right. So we're here to get things started for week 3 and to get you set up. So let's kick things off with our matchup of the week. Friday, it's a match we've all been waiting to see, the Seoul Dynasty against the New York Excelsior. 2 of the league's unbeaten teams who have looked virtually unstoppable so far. But something's got to give on this one. Mr. X, despite your beard, what are you looking forward to seeing from this match?
I'm excited to see what New York comes out with in terms of compositions. I really feel like we haven't seen them unlock Libro's full potential and the different things that he can do on the wide range of heroes that he can do. And I'm excited to see if they can put that to good use.
I think we already established you're a little bit of a fanboy for New York from the recap show, but Doa, what changes could we see in Seoul's preparation for this battle?
Well, I think, when you really look at it, Seoul has been kind of messing around in some of the earlier matches, trying some things with the roster that I don't think we'd see them do in a serious match like they're going to have against New York. So when you come right down to it, I think we're going to see what a real core, tight Seoul roster looks like.
And what is that roster is the next question, because they've been making so many substitutions. We presume that it is something along the lines of Miro, Zunba, Munchkin, Fleta, Toby, and Ryu Jae-hong. I think that's what we're going to be expecting, but considering their experimentation, we'll see which of these substitutions they're going to make. Are they going to stick with this strong 6-man unit?
We know we're at least going to get the main 4, right? It's going to be Jae-hong and Toby all game long. Same with Zunba and Fleta. It's really who's going to be playing the main tank, who's going to be the other DPS.
Well, what we just saw on the screen is what I expect we're going to see versus New York. I mean, on paper and based on the results we've seen already, this is what I would go with if I was coaching Seoul. And, we know I'm the greatest coach in the history of esports. So I'd imagine that's what we're going to see.
I'm sure they appreciate your opinion on that one as well. But yeah, okay, so the solid roster, we saw a little bit of a mix-up this week, but there are other, extenuating circumstances behind us not seeing that exact same Seoul offering. But before we get to watch that huge matchup, Wednesday night will bring us the Battle of Los Angeles. It's the Gladiators versus the Valiant for bragging rights here in the league's home city. The Valiant dropped 2 tough matches in week 2. The Gladiators won a war with the Fusion, both teams at 2-2. But Monty, in your mind, what makes the Valiant's favourites here?
I think it's unquestionable that even though the Valiant are 2-2, that they've had such an incredibly strong strength of schedule so far. Coming out, the only really easy win they've gotten has been against the San Francisco Shock, and they 4-0'd that team very convincingly. So when we compare their quality of their play up against particularly the top teams in this league, such as the London Spitfire, to what we've seen from the Gladiators, I think it's very clear that the LA Valiant are going to be the better team here, and I expect a dominant win.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Valiant, when you look at these guys, they have been by far the best team that's not 100% Koreans, right? And as we move forward, I don't anticipate that changing. They beat Gladiators before. I think they can do it again.
So both of these teams feature a bunch of standout players. Some of them, of course, we're getting to see now. Mr. X, there's some big matchups, some head-to-heads here. Which ones are you looking forward to most?
Doa, don't react all crazy here. I'm going to say it's going to be Shaz and Big Goose going up against Unko and Kareev. I knew you'd get excited about those Zenyatta battles. I'm excited to see, Shaz, and whether we see Kareev on some maps run the Zen or Unko run the Zenyatta. Sure. Some of the best offensive Zen players we have in the Overwatch League, and some of the best just flex supports out of both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am excited about the support matchup. I think the supports are a major strength for both of these teams. And when it comes down to just that matchup, I'm not quite sure out of those four guys who's going to come out on top.
I want to say that I think, in addition to the excitement of the support battle, for me, the real difference maker here is going to be Soon, who's been playing at an exceptional level on this Tracer. And Gladiators, they seem to be struggling with who is playing Tracer on this roster. When we saw them come into the preseason, Asher was picked up as a Tracer specialist for this roster. Now they've been switching it back to Surefour, who's a bit more of a flexible player. But I think in that Tracer matchup is going to be a big win for the Valiant.
So it definitely sounds like it's going to be a difficult test for the Gladiators, if not already decided on paper. But Doa, outside of their amazing purple outfits, what do you want to see from the Gladiators in this matchup?
Well, I mean, we already talked about the strength of their supports, right? Shaz and Big Goose, it's a big deal to have these guys on the team. I think Bishu's been performing extremely well on the Diva too, but I think they really need to engage their DPS players more. Monty touched on it a little bit already, but I want to see Asher put a little bit more on the Tracer, let him do his thing on that. Maybe, Surefour can get in there a little bit more, but we need more consistency from these guys, I think is the main point. We've seen flashes of brilliance from every single one of their DPS players. We just need a better, even across the board, good showing from them.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of star DPS duos in the league, and it's almost as if if you're not bringing those to the party, then you're going to be struggling to even keep up in a lot of these matches. But we've got another very important matchup coming out on the end of Friday. It's the Dallas Fuel taking on the San Francisco Shock. The Fuel are dealing with all sorts of issues, the most significant of which is their 0-4 record, while the Shock have been up and down, so far at least. Doa, how badly do the Fuel need this win?
I think you can look at this from a couple different ways, right? Because on the emotional level, yes, they absolutely need the win. Their fans need the win. Nobody wants to be 0-4. But on an organizational level, we're still in the first stage. They're retooling a lot of things right now with their roster. They're trying to still figure out how to best fit people like Seagull and Custa into this envious core. And they're going to keep doing that. And I think that's okay. And if you have to take some losses to do that along the way, that's playing the long game. That's going to make them a better team down the road.
Keep mixing them in here? Do you think they're going to keep going with a mix and match roster?
I'm not sure because, let me finish, Monty. I'm not sure because it depends on what they want, right? If the emotional side wins out and they want to win matches, I think they've absolutely proven they can, they've proven already they can take maps off the very best teams. They took a map off of Seoul, But if they want to, again, play the long game and look at how can we make this team be the best team, by the end of the Overwatch League, then I think you keep experimenting, even if it means going 0-5.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, but at the same time, and it's going to tell us a lot about, as you're saying, the Dallas Fuel's mentality coming into this match, because when they played this last week against the London Spitfire, what we did see was a return to a classic, quote, classic, unquote, MV lineup. Where after they got effect, you have Taimu in there, you have Coco, Mickey, Chips, and Harry Hook.
Yeah.
So it seemed like they were falling back on that established synergy just to get a boost in performance. But I agree with you that if they're going to actually grow as a team, they do need to start integrating these players. So it's a really tough call on what you do. Do you, as you say, take that loss up front or a possible loss against San Francisco, or do you play that same roster, get the win, but maybe not get the improvements that you're really looking to create?
I think this is a game where they probably could mix some players in and still kind of, compete for a victory here. It's crazy to even say Dallas is 0-4 at this stage in the game.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important they get guys like Seagull and Custis a lot of play, because they're going to need those guys later in the year. I mean, this is a very long season.
Well, and here's the dark side of this entire conversation is what happens if they go back to the classic NV core and then they lose to a mid-tier team? Where are they at that point? Because you're making a statement if you play with that roster that this is a match that you definitely want to win. And if you can't win then, that's when we start to really have serious doubts about how good Dallas is.
So, I mean, the Shock themselves, though, they're coming off a solid win against Boston But Mr. X, what's their path to victory against Dallas? How is San Francisco going to rep here and try and shut down a team that is obviously floundering a little bit?
So look, we always talk about Baby Bay when we talk about the San Francisco Shock, but for me, I thought Dante played the best series we've seen from him thus far in the Overwatch League up against that Boston Uprising team, where if they can get that great Tracer play to go with all of the different heroes that Baby Bay can play, whether it's Widowmaker, Genji, the 76, whatnot, I think they can be a very scary opponent for this Dallas team. No, Dallas really hasn't done a great job dealing with the dive yet, right? No, if they have a really great Tracer play on the side of San Francisco, Baby Bay can play a little bit more of the Genji. They can really give Dallas some problems.
We're talking about two teams that are kind of in the process of evolving too, right? San Francisco trying to break out of that let's protect the Baby Bay shell, right? And they're doing that a little bit. Like you mentioned, Dante having a little bit better performances. I think Nomi's stepping up a little bit now too lately. So, going into Dallas, they will continue to sort of break out of that mold. And if they do that, they'll be in great shape to beat them.
So before we go too much further, Monty and Dora, I understand that you guys had a night out with one of the league's top teams.
We did.
We did.
We did indeed.
We had dinner actually with the Seoul Dynasty or some members, I should say, of the Seoul Dynasty to discuss their transition over here to America and their thoughts so far on how the Overwatch League is going for them.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk to these guys. For me especially, I love practicing my Korean when I can. I'm terrible at it, but I give it a shot, and we're going to eat a lot of delicious food. You'll get to enjoy that too, so let's check it out. So here we are, sitting here in Santa Monica, having dinner, because we're all part of the Overwatch League. 2 years ago, none of us really kind of knew this was going to be a thing.
2 years ago, Overwatch came out, and I was like playing games, not going to school. Yeah, my parents didn't want me to do this for a long time, but now my parents are really happy.
So how do you feel now playing on Seoul Dynasty in America?
여기가 미국이긴 한데 뭐라 하지? 한국인들하고 같이 있으니까 그냥 여행 온 느낌? 와서 막 같이 하는 느낌이라서 더 좋은 것 같아요.
Did you think you would be coming to America and you would have thousands of fans?
깜짝 놀랐어요. 그렇게 많은 팬분들을 보고 정말 깜짝 놀랐고 그냥 그 생각뿐이었어요. 그냥 게임으로 인생 성공하겠다 이 생각뿐이었는데 그렇게까지 팬분들이 많을지는 몰랐어요.
Is this a dream?
집 놔두고 이렇게 어딜 가는 것 같아서 씁쓸하긴 했는데 그래도 더 잘 될 거라고 이제 다들 응원해 줬으니까.
Is that really intimidating or is the challenge kind of exciting?
사실 힘든 게 더 커요. 아직 영어를 완전 못해서.
Are you studying English right now?
조금씩.
쿠키랑?
자신 있어? 자신 있어?
해봐야지.
Your parents, are they happy for you to be in America? Are they happy for you to be a pro gamer?
꿈이 없어가지고 그랬었는데 이제 이거 하고 싶은 거 하신다고 좋아하고 있어요.
That's huge.
이게 뭐야? 미디엄 레어 맞나?
너무 커.
Didn't we come here because you guys wanted pasta?
We ordered pasta to share, and the meat.
22-ounce steak?
we didn't know it was this big.
Let's talk about London, New York. How do you describe their play style?
런던하고 뉴욕은 딱 정해져 있어요. 수비적이고 공격적인 팀.
그럼 우리는
다 잘하는 팀.
먼치킨, 천천히 먹고 있어? 천천히 왜?
너무 많아요.
이거 다 못 먹는다고?
야, 재형 다 먹을 수 있어? 그게 재형 다 먹었어. 대박. 와우. So, Monty and I want to thank you for coming out and joining us. There was a lot we wanted to know about you guys. I'm sure the fans did too. And we hope you had a good time. Looking forward to watching you play a lot more in the Overwatch League.
네, 저희도 이런 자리에 있어서 좋았어요? 좋았어. 네, 좋았어.
I have good time.
I had a good time. Yeah. 완벽해. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. That's where Monty and Doa were when I was looking for them to come and discuss, of course, on Saturday night.
It's all right. Our dinner had a higher SR as a result.
That's ranking up.
Even with Doa dragging the dinner down.
Hey, come on, man.
He
Somebody
loves Zenyatta, by the way.
because you forced me to play the Mercy.
Aside from the entire team being among the league's best, Munchkin is standing out when you look at his eliminations and damage per 10 minutes. Top 10 in both and second in elims. It appears he's falling behind on steak consumption, though. It looks like they don't know what 22 ounces is supposed to be.
I will say, though, that he and Fleta did take theirs to go. So what they didn't eat, they may have finished it later. I can't confirm or deny that.
That's a weak move. I was just impressed that both Kuki and Ryu Jae-hong finished a 22-ounce steak plus French fries, and they also had pasta on the side.
Dessert, too, after that.
Yeah, they had dessert as well. So these guys, obviously, using the metric system, did not understand the size of a 22-ounce
I actually don't know how much 22 ounces is either. I'll be straight honest with you.
Well, at the end of that, Jae-hong was like, I'm starting to feel nauseous, and he's like, let's order dessert. Welcome to America, man.
Also sounds just like me, to be honest with you. Let's ramp up the pace here, guys. It's time for our sixth stack. We'll begin with the London Spitfire. They're 4-0 and appear to be gaining some steam in week 2. Monty, what has impressed you most about this team so far?
Well, I finally get to be impressed by having Fisher and Rascal start playing with this lineup. They stuck with the same 6 players throughout that first week of competition, and now they're starting to introduce these new strategies. They've been playing a lot of in-your-face, like sort of tank-busting compositions with the Reaper. We saw Rascal play 7 different heroes this week over the course of the competition, showing off his versatility, as well as those niche picks like Mei on Horizon Defense that we know he is absolutely excellent at. And then even beyond that, when Fisher's been in the lineup, they start busting out, let's say, the Torbjorn and Reaper on Dorado Defense. I'm loving the increased versatility that we're seeing from this team, and I'm super happy to see some of my favorite players from Apex making their regular season debut.
Right, well, something that stood out in London's win over Dallas was the awkward ending where the match was already decided at 3-0 or whatever, but they had to decide and finish on Numbani. Had to play it regardless. As the league looks to improve the experience, hybrid maps like Numbani will now be played first, and escort maps will be the 4th and final of the series. Mr. X, what difference does this make?
This is great for everybody, you know, players, fans, casters, whatnot, because you can't end the series on a draw now. I think one of the most anticlimactic things is when you're watching a series for so long and you're wondering what's going to happen on that final map, and it's a draw. And we still go into the extra time, and we know that it's going to be a draw in that second half. So I think, changing the rules, putting that hybrid map first, putting escort at the end is great for everybody. It's a win all around.
Doesn't eliminate the draws necessarily, but at least make sure.
But you have the draws.
But you have the draws first.
You could have 2 draws to start off the series, which means that even if one team wins the 3rd map, now the other team still has a chance to come back, tie it up, and send us to that 5th map. So I think this is a great change.
And we get it, guys. It wasn't great. We knew it as well. We just couldn't say it every time it came up. But the Houston Outlaws flipped the script in week 2, evening up their record and not dropping a map. Doa, have the Outlaws figured it out?
Well, I mean, the big thing to think about here is that, they didn't drop a map last week, but they played Dallas and they played Shanghai as well. So the 2 bottom teams in the league right now, they were convincing wins by Houston, of course, and when you look at their earlier matches, they were competitive, but have they figured it out? I'm not so sure yet. I don't know. I want to see more games from these guys before I think we can really judge accurately where they stand in the rest of the league. Last week didn't really tell me much.
And definitely more to be shown and done from those guys. We'll have to see. But we're halfway through the 6th stack here. The Florida Mayhem picked up their first win in week 2. Mr. X, do you think they could gain some momentum here moving forward?
Look, I think the Florida Mayhem, although their record isn't great, I think they have played a lot of teams close. Their win is over the Shanghai Dragons, though. The Shanghai not in a great spot as a team right now. I think it'll be very difficult for them going forward to get more wins against, top and middle of the pack teams. But do I think they're going to get blown out? No. Do I think they gain a little bit of confidence off that Shanghai win, though? Yes. I don't know how much it carries them forward to more wins, though.
Yeah, it really depends on how their perception of the Shanghai Dragons is. It could differ from ours or even yours, for that matter. But the Philadelphia Fusion are up and down so far. They continue to get organised, Monty. As it happens, what are the Fusion doing differently that is now starting to work? Or not?
Or not. I mean, they're still lacking a lot of that teamwork and that synergy that we've seen from other teams. Of course, getting reversed, swept by the Los Angeles Gladiators, but picking up that win versus San Francisco this week. So they're winning matches based on that raw strength still. but they still need to come together. However, where I think this team is going to land is based off of their very aggressive play style. Fraggy is a weird tank. He's a Winston player that likes to play very far forward and open up space, which is great when you have DPS players that can thrive in this space like Carpe and Shadowburn. However, we take a look at his stats. Most deaths, but the team is still winning matches, right? And he's actually up there in terms of damage dealt. So as soon as the team learns how to support him better or even play around his playstyle, he may not have the best statistics. And certainly he is overextending at times right now. But if you can minimize that moving forward and then just take advantage of his positive qualities, which we saw on Team Giganti when he won Contenders playoffs in Europe, that's where they're going to start looking good.
Fraggy, looking like a Viking and definitely the definition of a blunt object, especially when they're using him in the Winston role. But last one. The Boston Uprising were looking pretty good in the preseason and in week 1, but now they sit at 1-3. Doa, how can the Uprising do just that and improve this week?
Oh, the thing is, what you got to remember about Boston Uprising, right, is that this was a team that not a lot of people were expecting a lot out to begin with going into the season. So I think they're still already exceeding expectations from what we thought they were going to look like coming into it. Going forward, though, I mean, we know that Striker's performing well on Tracer, but they've got Dream Casper. This guy is awesome. He keeps looking better every single week. And if they can kind of pull together and play around him a little bit more than they are now, I think the trajectory could keep going up. Because even though last week was rough, I still think overall this team is still getting better.
Yeah, I think Dream Casper, too, with his huge hero pool, is also looking like a strong point on this roster. Yeah. So I'm excited to see more of him.
It's a trajectory, an interesting one. I think earlier on we thought they would be on the up. This week maybe gave us some concerns, but now heading into week 3 could be even different. But Boston is definitely still trying to find their footing as a team. But as Doa mentioned, one guy's been absolutely crushing it is Dream Casper.
Dream Casper, DPS Flex, Boston Uprising. I prefer DPS because I'm trying to carry my team to victory.
Dream Casper coming in, lots of damage.
Yeah, my style is like an assassin, basically. I like to flank a lot and just be sneaky.
Great play, actually, from Dream Casper. He was able to get in.
Genji, he likes to come out of nowhere and like surprise your enemy, like surprise attack a little.
And sure enough, he's going for it. Chops 1, chops 2.
At first, my parents didn't really support my gaming career, and as Overwatch came out and I was able to prove I can actually like do something with it, they started to be more supportive, and as I got on a team, they just like 100% on board with it after that. My personal goal is to show people we can go really far and we can actually come on top of this league.
It's the Claim Game, where Overwatch League's biggest stars stake their claim to greatness. I'm your host, Mitch Leslie, and here is how it works. For each category, the players will explain why they are the best in the league, and I will arbitrarily decide a winner based on whatever mood I'm in. Let's get to our first category, Best DPS. Our first contestant from the Seoul Dynasty, it's Fleta.
It's Fleta. You know I'm great. I played every game. I'm absolutely trashing kids, putting them in the dumpster on my Widowmaker. No one else is going to stand a chance for MVP of this first season.
And our second contestant will be Pine.
Hey guys, I'm Pine. I'm a man of few words and many bullets. You may know me from my performances on Ilios, but there's a lot more coming, don't worry.
And our third contestant, hailing of course from the London Spitfire, it's Prophet.
Hey guys, it's Prophet. Before Overwatch League, you guys thought I was the best DPS in the world. You know, Fleta, he's done a nice job, but I'm still crushing people here too. And once we beat Seoul, you guys will all think I'm #1 again.
Okay, and up to me, of course, is the arduous duty of choosing a winner. I'm gonna go with Fleta here. I don't think there's any way that the Spitfire are gonna beat the Seoul Dynasty, at least not about now. So let's go over to our next category, in which we'll crown the player most likely to rise to the occasion when his team's back is against the wall. It's our most clutch player. Here is our first contestant, Pine again.
Of course, it's me. I'm the most clutch in the world once again. Haven't you seen me on Ilios, man? Headshots all day, every day, dabbing and dropping them, sometimes in reverse order, doesn't matter. I'm Pine, I'm the best.
And our second contestant, a man who does a center hair part better than anyone else, it's NYXL's Sabiobi.
You guys have seen me go clutch before at the World Cup, and now in Overwatch League, I win all the one-on-one Tracer engagements that swing the fights in my team's favor. Nobody's more clutch than me.
Pretty
straightforward, I'd like to think our final contestant is hailing from the Los Angeles Valley, and it's Soon.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Soon. I'm gonna do the rest of this in English so you can understand how clutch I am. Seoul may get the kills, but I'm the one playing the objectives. I sit on the payload, I back cap, I make the other team move, and that's how you win a game of Overwatch, with the payload, not with the Tracer 1v1.
Oh, that's not cool, man.
And purely maybe based on fabulous hair, I'm going to give that one to Seoul from the New York Excelsior.
Thank you so much, Mitch Uber Leslie. I know I'm the most clutch player in the world, and I'm thankful you acknowledge that.
Well, now for our final category on the claim game today. There are a ton of amazing handles in the Overwatch League. But who claims to have the best handle? Let's find out. Our first contestant is from our hometown, Los Angeles Gladiators.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Big Goose here. I like my handle a lot. I know my big hair, and I really love gooses. So I decided to name myself Big Goose.
Let's now meet our second contestant.
It's me, Rascal. I'm surprised Big Goose hasn't laid the Big Goose egg in terms of wins so far. Rascal's so great. Look at me. I'm precocious, I'm young, my name's fitting my stature, and that I'm always going to be there to cause some trouble.
And finally for our third contestant.
Hey, I'm back. What'd you expect? I'm Pine, I'm the best. I'm a tree. People love me at Christmas. People love the scent of me in their homes all year round. That's why Pine is the best ID.
Okay, it's time to announce our winner for our final round, and that one is Rascal, because no one else at home knows what precocious means anyway. And that does it for the claim game. You know what they say? There's no fortune in fame if you can't stake your claim. Wait, that's seriously our slogan? Someone actually got paid to write that, and you put it in my prompter just to make me say it and get tripped up? I'm super mad. Do I not sound mad?
It all starts with the battle for LA. The Valiant taking on the Gladiators. This is a rivalry we are looking forward to developing.
We're looking to dominate them and show that we are one of the best Western teams, if not the best.
They've already a team for a while, and I don't think they will be improving as fast as us.
The Gladiators said, we want to be the Lakers, not the Clippers.
Preseason, it was 3-1.
The Los Angeles Valiant claim the City of Angels.
We're looking to 4-0 this time.
Preseason, they seem to be the better LA team.
The kills continue to come in for Los Angeles Gladiators.
You know, I think it could be anyone's game.
And the Gladiators stand tall on home turf.
For Overwatch League to be hosted in LA for the first season, it's great for us because we have a lot more fans cheering us on during the games.
The home field advantage really kind of shows with all the cheering in the crowd, and I know some of my teammates and myself definitely get amped up.
Shields up.
It is the hometown heroes, the Los Angeles Valiant.
Have a great 2-0 week. Now they go up against two of the harder teams in the league.
We faced off against the better teams now. We know we can go tiptoe with them. We're really close games with them.
They go down 0-2 at the beginning of this series and then win the following 3 maps.
What's up, front of you guys?
With a lot more practice on our shoulders, I think we'll be able to put a better match against them.
There's a big line in the sand that divides Los Angeles right now.
May the best team win.
Good luck. You'll probably need it.
Is sure to be an absolute rip snorter.
Okay, so the time has come for our analysts to put it on the line and offer their predictions for this week's matches. Through 2 weeks, all 3 of these guys are tied with 20 out of 24 correct picks.
Look, that's a great percentage, man.
Thanks, Dallas Fuel.
Thanks for ruining it, Dallas.
That's all the wrong ones right there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we had interesting ones last week, but we can maybe get onto that one. But let's see who they have this particular week. Wednesday, everyone's on the same page, picking the Spitfire over the Shock, Seoul over Shanghai, and the Valiant taking out the Gladiators in that Battle of Los Angeles. Thursday, though, well, more harmony with our analysts. They've all got London over Boston, the Excelsior topping the Fusion, and Houston beating Florida. But Friday, that's where it starts getting a little bit spicy. In the matchup of the week, Monty and Doa have the Seoul Dynasty, but Mr X is going for the New York Excelsior. Monty and Mr X, you got 30 seconds to back up your prediction in our face-off. Let's go.
Seoul Dynasty has not been tested like NYXL.
Yeah, they haven't been, but they're also not going to be using the same, mix-up of their roster.
They don't have great practice
Meanwhile,
against
New York's already
competition. shown
everything that they've got already. They put it all out on
Libero
the table.
can do some interesting
Soul's
stuff.
Gonna be dialing
Maybe
it back
feed the
towards their more
Bay, some
solid,
Hanzo.
their more solid roster, and this is where they're actually going to be trying.
We know Fleta's great. We got to see what those other guys can do playing the Tracer against Seoul B.
Hold his own against Seoul B. It's definitely going to be a Seoul victory.
It's going to be very close.
It's going to be very close.
Regardless of what happens.
Well, it was nice to see Matt check out after about 10 seconds there. I think you sort of ran out.
I just wanted to give Monty some time to talk. I felt bad. I was dominating.
Right, back to our Friday picks, though, because we're not done there. The whole gang has Philly taking out Shanghai, but Doa stands alone with the San Francisco Shock over the Dallas Fuel. Oh, I don't know if we should do this, but we're going to do it anyway. Doa and Mr X, another 30-second face-off.
I'll let you go first, Doa. I'll be the nice guy
Well,
here.
Matt, you already lost one of these 30-second things today, so here comes number 2. San Francisco should be able to
You seem really enthusiastic about San Francisco here.
Well, the thing
Real
is,
confident.
here's the thing, is that, like, Dallas, I just don't know what I'm going to see. You can't pick these guys because you don't know if you're going to see them, put in the Envious core and play the thing they know
If
well.
they
Or
put
if
in
they're
Envious, they're going to win this
You
match
can't pick them.
against the Shock.
You're a fool to pick them.
If I tell you what, if Dallas Fuel loses this match, they're in trouble. I mean,
That's
they
right.
may not
I'm
win
glad
many
you
more
agree
throughout
with
the
me,
season.
and,
they're going to win here
probably
against
will.
the Shock. This
San
is the one I
Francisco
feel the
should
best
take it.
out of their matches thus far.
Go San Francisco.
Saved by the Bell has never felt more visceral. You two gentlemen, every axiom and idiom of argument pretty much is thrown out the window, but that's fine because you know what? That does it for us here at Watchpoint. We hope you're as pumped for week 3 as we are, and be sure to tune in Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific on OverwatchLeague.com, Twitch, or the Overwatch League app. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.